Hello again, everybody. I wanted to build a structure for my model train layout that would be very simple and very straightforward and wouldn't take much more than an evening, if even that. And I had a siding on my layout that was kind of blank, and I didn't know whether to build an industry on it or what to do with it. And I also did not want to put a large structure on it because it would obscure my view of the back of the layout. It's a kind of a rural, semi-industrial area that I'm working on. So I decided to go for a team track concept. If you don't know what a team track is, in North American railroading, a railroad freight company would often just throw up or even use an unused industrial siding or some other siding off a yard and make it a general delivery point for companies that would come up along and collect whatever was in a boxcar or a tanker or whatever was needed. So the railroad company would just park the freight car or cars on this team track. The customer would come along in a truck or a van and then unload the boxcar or unload the hopper and then leave without having to pay for any specialized loading or handling facilities or a siding being installed. So the team tracks were very important. They were called team tracks because originally it was teams of horses that used to collect this stuff from the boxcars. They're still in use, and I remember I lived near one, and here it is on Google Earth in Richmond Hill. It's the Atlantic and Western Railroad, or Atlantic and New York Railroad, I think it's called. It's the freight railroad that operates inside New York City these days. And as you can see, there's the team track leading to the main road where the customer will drive his truck in and collect whatever in the boxcars or in the hoppers. And it's very simple, very modelable. And even that little diner on the side there would make a nice little model to add. So, looking for an idea for just making it more than a track, I remembered this old book I had. This is published by Kalmbach back in 1958, and it is glorious. It is called Easy to Build Model Railroad Structures, edited by Willard V. Anderson, the managing editor of Model Railroader magazine. So it's basically all these American-style buildings, but many of them can be adapted for European or other prototypes, and how to build them in HO scale, what they're made from, the materials. This would be 1950s materials, but it's all adaptable today, styrene and so on, and all kinds of. It's a very interesting education about American old railroad systems. And I remember there was a concrete loading platform in this. And it's wonderful, this book. On this contents page, you have like a map diorama of all the buildings contained and their plans and their page number beside it. And down here was what I was looking for, number 28. And I go over here to page 28 and it says concrete loading platform. So we go to page 28 in the book, 25. And here it is. Now, a very simple structure, and it's called, not what it's cracked up to be, a concrete loading platform by Robert E. Gilbert. The concrete loading platform near the Southern Railway Station in Jonesboro, Tennessee, makes a simple but attractive model. If you have not yet attempted to build a structure from scratch, try out your skill on this easy platform. It's a perfect beginner's model to scratch build in HO. It couldn't be easier. Robert E. Gilbert suggests getting a block of wood and carving it to shape balsa, and then texturing it and also showing the plank lines where the concrete formers are put on it. I opted to use DAS or DAS modeling clay, the air dry kind, and I basically just shaped it and added some texture with paint brushes and scribed a few concrete lines on the side to indicate formers, and painted it basically with just acrylics. And there he isn't very happy when it came out. Interestingly enough, just for the hell of it, it said the prototype platform stands near the Southern Railway Station at Jonesboro, Tennessee. Note the impression left from the wooden forms and the dirt on the top. There it is there, right? I go to Google Earth, and amazingly enough, this still exists, and here it is. So it's amazing. This was probably built in the early 1910s or 20s. probably around the World War I period. And it's still there. The track is still there. Whether it's still used, I don't know. But there's a tractor trailer, as American called them, parked next to it. So I did that on my layout just for this video. So there you go. Do not be intimidated by needing complex sidings. If you have a team track and a concrete platform, loading deck, or even a wooden one, you can have and justify all kinds of railroad freight traffic in there, not just boxcars, hoppers, cereal hoppers, chemical hoppers, oil, all kinds of freight that can be loaded in there and picked up on truck. So technically speaking, you can build a model railroad with one siding and run a railroad freight car you could imagine to it, because what goes on the team track is determined by the nature of the customer collecting the freight, and that can literally be anything.